Welcome back to episode 17 of the With a Grain of Salt podcast. This guy's over here tweaking. All right. Now, I just want to quickly say thank you all for the massive amount of support we've gotten so far. We have reached 500 subs. We're at 510 to be exact of this video.
510.
So we beat Spud's goal. So you know what that
I
means? You know
didn't
what
think
that
it would
means?
happen.
I'm gonna
I
put it
died.
right
I
here.
passed away.
I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna put it right here. It's a picture of our first fucking merch drop, alright? Go check that out. It's nothing too big, alright? But for 500 subs, I feel like it was worthy. We dropped something for the real ones, you know? Thank you all for the massive amount of support. Don't forget to check out the links down below. The new merch store will be down there. So, unfortunately, we ran into a little speed bump here before the episode, and that was I lost the script. I lost our first script, and it was over Jeffrey Dahmer, bro.
Left
But
it in the bushes.
somewhere. But anyway, we're gonna kind of sidetrack, kind of skip an episode, and we're gonna go back into our grains of creep little section and be reading another no
Creep
sleep.
salt. So this one is called I Dared My Best Friend to Ruin My Life. He's Succeeding by Zanderson 90, and it came out 10 years ago. At least the first part did.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
That is, this is gonna be juicy.
Came out 2016. It is a 8-part series. Okay.
It's gonna
So,
be a little web series, baby. Let's go.
yeah, so what's gonna happen is we're going to record basically individual episodes of the parts. So that's 8 episodes you're gonna get right there. All right, and if you guys like the 8 episodes, we'll go into series 2 later down the line. And yeah, but after the 8 episodes release, what's gonna happen is I'm probably gonna end up deleting all 8 of those episodes, okay? Now hold on, stay with me, and then I'm going to put it all into one compilation video and re-upload it. Alright. My name is Xander, and my best friend is going to ruin my life. It started out very small, but has quickly grown out of control. I'm currently sitting inside a church using their Wi-Fi to post this story and taking advantage of their air conditioning. I'm posting this story in case he finds me and kills me soon. It's only a matter of time now, and I want someone to know what happened before I die. 2 years ago, my friend David and I were sitting on the couch at my house, thoroughly bored. It wasn't a temporary boredom either, I was resounding boredom with life. We both worked full time at the local movie theater making minimum wage and cleaning up after idiots who couldn't keep popcorn and soda in their mouths. We had graduated high school 2 years prior and had no plans to attend college. Life looked bleak for us. College didn't sound appealing, work was annoying, and the little free time we had was blown on video games and YouTube. We both still lived with our parents too, which made dating somewhat embarrassing. Looking back, I'm sure we were suffering from mild depression on top of everything else. These life circumstances blended together to create the perfect storm for what I now have to call my reality. As we sat on the couch at my parents' house, channel surfing the TV, David asked me if I was bored with life. I responded in the positive, and he sighed.
High school was so easy because we just knew our purpose and our goals were set for us. Outline the English essay, finish the math homework, get decent grades, pass the driving exam, be home by curfew, find a girlfriend. Now that we're out of high school, there's no structure. Our lives have become meaningless and we're just floating through space with no aim or no purpose. Would you go back to high school then? I asked. He shook his head. In the moment, high school was annoying. It was only after looking back that I see how much better it was than I realized. What's the solution then? I asked. Either go somewhere that has structure and can deliver what high school gave us, or create our own structure, David replied. Well, I don't want to go to college or the military, I said, and I can't think of anywhere else that provides the same structure. Guess I have to make my own, but I have no idea where to start. The thing about high school was that it required a minimum effort. If you didn't give that minimum effort, you would face the consequences. The consequences were bad enough that you would put in the effort into school. When high school ended, the minimum effort level decreased. Now our minimum effort is not enough to improve ourselves. Whatever structure we build has to have those consequences built in and minimum effort that forces us to improve constantly.
David was and is a very intellectual person. He thinks about everything. If you can't already tell, I was pretty dumb compared to him, but I stuck around because he always had interesting things to say. This conversation definitely counted as interesting. I won't bore you with the entire conversation that we had, but it lasted an hour where we discussed how to build structure into our lives. I want to emphasize here that boredom is dangerous. Well, not dangerous by itself, but it can quickly lead to dangerous things. Boredom can lead to pain, accidental children, and technology that disrupts a monopoly, and even death.
I love how they threw in accidental children, like
Ac-
that's a regular thing.
I mean, it
I
technically
mean, it
is.
is it is a
It
regular thing,
is.
but
Yeah.
like it's just funny that it's in there. Sorry.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. Our boredom led to a dare.
I dare you to try and ruin my life, David said. "Oh, what does that mean?" I asked. It's a way to build structure into life. If I know that you are always trying to ruin my life and actually actively trying to make me fail, then I'm driven to fight back and act on initiative. But how can I ruin your life? Asked. You can ruin anyone's life if you gave it enough thought, planning, and action, David said with a smirk. I'm not going to give you any ideas. I just want you to try and ruin my life.
I remember sitting back and thinking about what he meant. The first thoughts that came to mind were about tripping him occasionally, or hiding his toothbrush every time I went to his house. My young mind didn't fully understand how serious David was being. His mind was running 3 tracks above mine, so I didn't know what I was getting into when I said, "Okay, I'll ruin your life, but I dare you to try to ruin mine as well." He smiled with a newfound enthusiasm, and I smiled back. I had hoped it would be a great way to relieve my boredom with life. David stood up and punched me in the leg as hard as he could. I shouted at him, mostly out of surprise. He just laughed.
The dare starts now,
He
he
said,
said.
grabbing his shoes.
We are no longer friends, we are nemesises.
He opened my front door and looked over his shoulder.
Good luck. I hope you'll work half as hard as I will.
Once he left, I just sat there rubbing my sore thigh. Okay, I thought. If he wants a war, he'll get a war. That night, I had lied awake, trying to think of ways to make his life harder for him. My ideas were all so childish and useless compared to what he would later throw at me. I'm too embarrassed to list my ideas from back then. I wish I could say I remember the day David turned against me for real, but it was so subtle that I didn't notice right away. To my face, David acted completely normal. While we were at work, I would sprinkle popcorn over a section he just cleaned and pointed out to him. He would just laugh and say,
Is that supposed to ruin my life?
then he would clean it up. I expected him to do the same to me, but he didn't. His lack of visible retaliation made me bored again, so I stopped. Looking back, I suspect that behind my back, he was sabotaging my image with our other coworkers and our boss. Out of the blue, my boss called me into his office and told me that I was fired because I wasn't doing a good enough job. David acted sorry I was leaving and promised to hang out again soon. I
This
left.
man literally got his friend fired because they're like, let's make it interesting. Let's just fuck each other over.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy. Sorry.
he really did take a huge fucking step right after, like, really prove to his buddy that we're no longer taking these baby steps. I left thinking I could make this something good and get a real job. That dream died, and I ended up at McDonald's instead.
Of course,
After,
as it always does.
always does. After I had been at McDonald's for a month or so, my parents confronted me. They asked me if I had been stealing cash from their wallets. I had never stolen a cent from them, and I told them so. They backed off, but only for a week until my mom's debit card went missing. Alright. They confronted me again, this time very angry. They accused me of withdrawing several $100s using my mom's debit card. I have no siblings, so it wouldn't have been anyone else in the house. It turned into a screaming match, and they demanded that I move out as quickly as possible. With my small cash of savings, I found an apartment near a local community college that housed college students. The rent was affordable enough for me, so I moved out within the month.
Literally stole his mom's debit card to steal money from his parents so he'd get kicked out is crazy.
Yeah, his buddy's really pushing those limits of, alright, look, let me show you what you can really do.
He really just hates this guy now.
Oh yeah, straight nemesis, bro. I moved in and became instant friends with two of my roommates, Clark and Ivan. Our other roommate, Isaac, kept to himself and stayed in his room playing video games 24/7. Life got good again because I hung out with Clark and Ivan frequently. David and I stopped hanging out after I was fired from the movie theater. I hadn't forgotten about him, but I had forgotten about the dare. Every once in a while, I would message him on Facebook or shoot him a text to ask if he wanted to hang out, but my messages were always ignored. Eventually, I gave up. Within 6 months, I had a great life going. I was dating a girl named Katie. I've been promoted to crew trainer at McDonald's, which paid better, and my bank account was slowly growing. I only recognized this as David's doing when I look back, but an obscene amount of junk mail showed up with my name on it every single day. Magazines, credit card offers, vacation ads, and even physical letters from real people who claimed to be excited to be my new pen pal. I sorted through them every day trying to find some pattern. Clark and Ivan thought it was hilarious. When I come home late from work, they would sometimes toss the junk mail into the air like confetti as I walked through the door, cheering that the mail king was home. One day, I remember feeling sick of getting all this junk mail and deciding to sit down, call every subscription to cancel. I recruited Clark and Ivan to help me, and we sat down with snacks one afternoon and started to crank through phone calls. In the next few days, the tide of junk mail subsided and we celebrated our efforts. That only lasted a week. The next week, it started coming back in full force. There was twice as much as before, and even some pornographic magazines in the mix. Yes! Nudie Magazine Day! Nudie Magazine Day! Not only did my physical junk mail increase, but my email became unnavigable. One more time.
Unnavigable.
That's a nice word. Though, through all the new spam messages, Google moved a lot into the spam filter, but there were still hundreds of emails that made it through. My email had been subscribed to websites I've never even heard of. Clark and Ivan were blown away by the new tide of junk mail. The event was dubbed Return of the Junk, and became a great icebreaker for Clark and Ivan to introduce me to other people at parties. One day, I was browsing Facebook's People You May Know section when I came across someone's profile that had my picture, but a different name. The account was open for anyone to view and had a lot of porn posts, status updates of swearing, and praises to Hitler.
Nice.
I frowned when I clicked on their pictures. Most of their pictures were the same ones from my Facebook account, but there were some pictures of me that weren't on my account or anywhere else online. Keep in mind, I didn't remember my dare to David, so I was feeling pretty creeped out. Yeah, I'd be pretty fucking creeped out.
Especially since you don't talk to the guy anymore, yeah.
Oh yeah. I hit the report button and let Facebook know that the account was fake and went on with my way. I think 3 months or so later is when more stuff started to happen. Katie and I are getting very serious and discussing moving in together. The junk mail still rolls in, and I've started just to throw it away. Ivan has moved out to go on to an actual university, so a new roommate, Jackson, has moved in. Clark and I attempted to befriend Jackson, but he's similar to Isaac and locked himself in his room most of the time. Alright. Fucking weird.
I'd sit in my room. I don't know, unless my roommates were cool. Like, I'd interact with them a little bit, but unless they were cool, I'd probably just be in my room.
A new game became available for pre-order, so I submitted my email to reserve a copy. When I tried to log into my email to make sure the reserve code was there, I couldn't log in. I hit forgot password and it asked if I wanted to use my phone number to reset the password. I pressed yes and waited for my phone to light up. It never did. I pressed the button 3 more times, but no text ever came. I tried old passwords I used to use, but none of them worked. I frowned, but eventually just walked away from my computer. I'd try again a different day. I sat down on the couch and pulled up Facebook on my phone. Pop-up appeared. You've been signed out, it said. Then it jumped to the login screen. I thought I'd hit the logout button on accident, so I just typed my email and password. It didn't work. I tried again, but it still told me the password is incorrect. My phone buzzed in my hand. Katie was calling me. I answered it immediately, became concerned. She was sobbing.
Katie?
I said.
You coward!
She spat.
You don't get to just Facebook me that shit. No, you have to talk to me when you tell me with your voice.
Holy shit.
Nah, I'm in love with Katie. Continue.
Katie, what are you talking about?
Don't play stupid, asshole. Say it.
Say what?
Your Facebook.
Oh my god, it's dying.
Your Facebook me and say you Facebook me and say we're through. But when I call you, you deny everything. What the hell are you trying to pull, Xander?
Katie hissed.
Katie, my Facebook got hacked. I was literally just trying to log in when you called. Are you home? I'm coming over. We are not done. We are far from done, sweetheart.
It took me some time to convince Katie that it hadn't been me, but she relented when I showed her that I couldn't log in. I googled how to get my Facebook account back and contacted their help center. Thankfully, they were able to help me to get back into my account. Lots of links to porn sites have been posted all over my page by whoever jacked my account, so I spent time deleting all of those. I also spent time answering family members who asked about the strange content I had been posting. Awkward. Katie also found out through her feeds that my Twitter and Instagram had been hacked. The accounts were posting hundreds of crude messages and pictures. Those 2 sites took a little more effort, but eventually I regained control over those 2. Fixing my email took a couple of days, but I got access again. Not wanting to repeat the experience, I made my passwords into really long strings of numbers, letters, and symbols. Each account had a different password. For anyone who has done this, you know how impossible it would be to memorize your passwords. I wrote them down on a sheet of paper and put it in my dresser drawer. I didn't intend to get hacked again. I'm telling you where I put the paper so you know how freaked out I was when Facebook signed me out again the next week. I checked my other accounts, locked out again. I shot Katie a text to warn her and then called the Facebook help center again. They gave me access to Facebook and gave me the same warning about making a long password. When I told them the type of precautions I had taken last time, they suggested checking my computer for viruses in case there was a keyloggers collecting all the information I typed. I called a computer repair center and asked what I needed to do to get my computer scanned. They asked me to bring it down and they'd check it out. I had a desktop, so bringing it down required a lot of unplugging. When I got down behind the computer to unplug everything, I found a tiny USB stick that I had never seen before. I frowned and tried to locate its contents on the computer. The computer said no USB was attached. The computer repair guy confirmed that the USB drive was a keylogger. He asked if my computer had ever been anywhere else that anyone could walk up and use it. I told him no, and he said he had no idea how it could have gotten there. He didn't charge me anything, just warned me to keep an eye on my computer. I changed all my passwords again, going through the motions to get my accounts back. A few days later, I received three credit card bills in the mail. I still had the habit of skimming through the junk mail in case there ever was anything super important. I'm glad I did, because I might never have found out that the credit cards that were registered in my name. I called the credit card companies to inform that they were mistaken. I had never signed up for a credit card. My parents had warned me about them so often that I've been deterred from ever getting one. Before you commit and tell me I need them to build my credit, yes, I know that. A quick Google search told me what to do next. I called Equifax, which is a company that calculates your credit score and tells creditors blah 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 blah. Sorry, it's just an ad. The dude at Equifax was kind enough to tell me what I need to do next. Oh my god, they give you like this whole spiel of like how to fucking
They had a file for fucking credit fraud.
yeah, like how to get oh my god. Kind enough to tell me what I need to do next. He asked me to go online and view my credit report. If I saw any accounts I didn't recognize, I was to write them down and fill out a complete complaint to the Federal Trade Commission's at the TCAC. Explaining the situation, once I had submitted, I was able to file a copy of it with the police and create a police report. Then I had to take those two reports and call each of the credit card companies and had issued credit to my identity and started the dispute process. I instantly felt very discouraged at the amount of effort that would require. I felt utterly insane to require to follow all these steps just because I was the victim of identity theft. God damn. Yes. Oh my god. You notice how I fucking sped read through that? Oh my god.
All to say he was a victim of identity fraud. No way.
Like I'm gonna keep it G real. You probably didn't need all that right there. That paragraph right there could have probably gone away. Clark was horrified at what happened and looked at his credit score. He was relieved when it came back clean. I made Katie check hers too, just in case. Also clean. I'll take a minute to tell everyone reading that you are entitled by... Oh my fucking god. You are entitled by law to one free credit report per year for one in three credit score companies. That means that you can add and should check your credit 3 times a year. Clark and I sent reminders to our phones to check the scores again in 4 months. I asked Katie to do the same. Let me just make sure. When I first found out about the accounts, I had called my parents to ask if they had opened any accounts in my name. If they had, I'd at least know who the culprit was. They told me they hadn't any open accounts, and I warned them about my problems. They promised to check their credit score. Oh my god. Is there more?
No.
Like, I'm just skimming. It was hooking me, and now I'm lost. I don't even want to read this. 2 weeks after I had called them, my dad called. They found 15 fraudulent accounts between the two of them. What the hell? I told him the steps I needed to take, and he was grateful for my help and warning. I swear to God. I know this is boring to read, but I want you to realize how insanely painful it was to fix all of this shit. Seriously, watch your credit reports and nip identity theft in the bud before it happens to you. I had requested detailed bills from the credit card companies and had issued the fraudulent accounts, and they had mailed to me. The bills were full of online purchases. The accounts had been opened almost a year ago, and in that time the thief spent $62,000 between all the fraudulent accounts. I was pretty upset that in a full year, I had just found out any credit card bills in the mail. I must have been tossing them in the mountains of junk mail. Now I know that the masses of junk mail were deliberate and calculated so the bills would blend in and hopefully get thrown away. Oh my god. I don't ever want to read that again, you understand? I still don't think I know how to file for credit fraud. Matter of fact, I don't even have a credit card. So the first few transactions were from stores like Target, Walmart, etc. But the further down I went, the less I recognized. One word stuck out to me: Bitcoin. I had learned a little about it from my Facebook feed, as I had some friends from high school who touted it as the next real currency. According to the credit card statement, several $1,000s had been exchanged into Bitcoin. I started really researching Bitcoin and trying to figure out what it was. why an identity thief would want it. To make the explanation short, Bitcoin allowed my thief to make completely anonymous purchases online. It was as if it was drained in all the credit cards and the cash. I didn't foresee the credit card companies ever getting their money back. David now had a hell of a lot of cash he could use to ruin my life. I didn't know it was him at the time, obviously, but now I do. Guys, identity theft is a serious crime. It is very damaging. Hold on. Let me look chat in the camera. Let me look. Come here. Come. Aiden, let's look into the camera real quick. All right. Let's let all of our viewers know real quick, okay? Guys, identity theft is a very serious crime, and it's very damaging to everyone in the economy. And while the theft had been bad, his life was about to get a whole lot worse. Alright. That's all the time I have to write for now. I have to go and get some serious shit taken care of. I'll write again as soon as I can. My name is Xander, and my best friend is trying to ruin my life. Thank you guys once again for joining us on this wonderful story. We will be back for part 2 next week. And yeah, don't forget to check out all the links down below. Don't forget to check out the brand new merch store. Okay, thank you once again for 500 subs. And I think
Wouldn't be possible without all of you guys.
oh yeah, never. Anyway, thank you all, and I think we can wrap it up. Peace out.
Peace.
Welcome back to part 2 of I dared my best friend to ruin my life, and he's succeeding. Today we are going to be continuing this wonderful series as me, your wonderful narrator, and Spud over here is your wonderful vocalist. Once again, I will say now, this episode should be coming out on Christmas Eve. I know, right?
Better be good so you get your presents, kids.
Hell yeah. Hope you guys get what you wish for. Merry Christmas to all. And thank you all for our wonderful
Happy
Christmas
holidays.
of the wonderful 564 subs. Holy shit. You guys are blowing that up. Thank you
Pat
again.
yourselves on the back, you know.
Oh yeah, I'd like to also quickly shout out our merch right here in the middle. Go check that out, okay? And don't forget to also check out the Spotify down below if you're on the go and don't want to watch a video. But anyway, let's just hop right into it.
Second part of ruining my life. Okay, let's see how you do it this time, Aiden.
Hello again, everyone. I've had more time to write than yesterday. Sorry about the length. I'm trying to catch up to present as quickly as possible, but also include enough details so you can see how thorough David was being. I'll resume where I left off. While I was trying to resolve the credit disputes with those companies, my car's windows started getting smashed. The first time, it was parked on the street in front of my apartment. I woke up one morning to find the driver's windows smashed and my car raided. My car was just a crappy Honda Civic, and I didn't ever keep anything expensive in there.
Snatching the stereo just to as a scummy move to make a couple bucks off of him is crazy.
Oh yeah, what do you mean, man? Stereos will go for a lot, man. But they snatched my stereo, which was shitty anyway, and all the spare change in the car. Desperate much? I got my window repaired that day and decided to set aside some cash to buy a really nice stereo now that I had an excuse. The next morning, the same window was smashed again. Again, I had parked it in front of my apartment. I got that repaired reluctantly. I started to park in the underground parking for the apartment complex. See, no one likes the underground parking because the lines are painted too close, so it's not uncommon for your car to get scratched up down there. I decided it was better than a smashed window, so I fought for a spot that evening. I know you're going to ask, why didn't I call the police? Mistakes, that's why. We all make them. You have the wisdom that comes with knowing the whole story. I didn't. Glass was all around my car when I went down the next morning. It wasn't just the driver's window that was damaged. The front windshield and back windshield were deeply cracked. I spent some time looking at every car in the garage. No one else had so much as a scratch on their windows. What the hell? If some random asshole was out breaking windows, he was targeting me. I noticed the note after I gotten into the car. It was a sticky note folded up and slipped into the ignition keyhole. I opened it. You have increased your minimum required effort, it said. The phrasing was intentional. David wanted me to know it was him, and when I saw that phrase, I remembered our conversation. That fucker. I went into a total rage and drove out of the parking lot, trying my best to drive with a cracked windshield. I still remembered how to get to David's house, and I ran a red light or two to get there. Parking in front of his house, I slammed the door shut and marched to the front door. I held the doorbell for much longer than necessary. I tried to breathe and remain calm. David won't help me if I show up shouting and yelling.
After not talking to this guy for forever, just showing up at his house.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's funny. His mom answered after a few minutes. David's parents had held off on having a child until they were much older. As a result, David's mom was already 75, even though David was only 23. Holy cow.
Hello?
She said, opening the door. Then she saw who it was.
Oh, Xander. How nice. How nice of you to come over. I haven't seen you in weeks.
Yeah, it's been almost a year. Mrs. K, is David home?
No, sorry, dear. He's at work right now.
Oh, okay. I'll go and catch him at the theater.
I said, backpedaling towards my car.
No. He doesn't work there anymore.
You got fired?
No, he quit not long after you did. He became a security guard somewhere. Never mentioned where.
I'll call him then.
He dropped his phone a few weeks ago and had to get a new one. Let me give you the new number.
She walked back inside for a minute, and I waited on the porch. She came back with her old flip phone and opened it.
Do you mind? My arthritis makes my phone hard to use.
I went to her contacts, found David's number, entered it into mine, and handed the phone back.
Thanks, Mrs. K.
I said, even if David was being an asshole, I always liked his mom.
Anytime.
She said with a smile and closed the door. I called David immediately, but only got a voicemail.
Hi, David, it's Xander. I just spoke with your mom, and she didn't know where you were, so she gave me your number. Please call me, man. I think you know why.
I sent this to his voicemail. I figured that being polite was the best way to get him to fix everything. In the middle of the workday, my phone buzzed. Hoping it was David, I stepped outside and answered. It was Clark.
Xander, have you been home since you left?
No. Why?
We've been robbed.
What?
Someone broke in and stole a ton of stuff. Your computer, our TV, all kinds of shit.
Son of a bitch. Did you call the police?
Yeah, they're on their way.
Don't touch anything, okay?
I suggested, remembering all the episodes of CSI that I had binged on.
We might be able to get fingerprints. I think I know who it is.
Hell.
An ex-friend. I'll tell you when I get home. I'm leaving soon.
I told the manager that my apartment had been broken into, and he let me go home. I drove home in my still broken windshields, praying I didn't get pulled over for it. When I got to the apartment, the police were already there. I walked to the landing where a cop was interviewing Clark and another was looking through the apartment. The cop turned to face me.
Are you one of the roommates?
He asked.
This is Xander.
Clark said.
My partner is looking through the apartment now. A tech is going to come out and dust for prints. We're going to need to make an inventory of everything that was stolen and bring it to the station once the tech is done. I have a suspect,
I said. The cop raised his eyebrows.
His name is David King. He used to be a really good friend of mine, but recently I suspect he's been doing all kinds of shit to me. I think he's stolen my identity, my parents' identity, damaged my vehicle, and now broken into my house.
Clark shot me a questioning look.
Why do you think he's doing all this?
The officer asked.
I found this in my car's ignition this morning with the windshield smashed.
I said, handing him the folded sticky note out of my pocket. He read it.
Why do you think he wrote this?
He asked.
We had a conversation about a year ago. We were talking about minimum requirements for success and how school made our lives easier because it had consequences, and if we didn't make a minimum effort.
I explained. It looked like the idea went right over the cop's head.
We'll test this for prints too.
While all he said, pulling an evidence bag from his belt and putting the note inside.
Come down to the station with your inventory and be ready to make a formal statement about your friend.
I agreed to do so. At the moment, the partner came outside with nothing to report. The tech arrived and started dusting. We waited patiently, eager to see what was missing.
Oh, you really should lock your bedroom doors.
The partner said.
2 of your roommates' doors are locked, so I doubt anything was stolen from them. You should make sure they check their rooms for anything that's missing when they get home.
We agreed to ask them. The tech finished up and told us we'd know in a few days what prints he was able to find. The house seemed bare. Only the largest couch out of the 3 was left in the living room. The TV, which had been 65-inch plasma, was gone. Food was missing from the pantry, and even the contents of the fridge were dumped on the floor. Silverware was scattered around the kitchen floors and counters.
Where the hell is Isaac and Jackson?
Clark yelled angrily.
They're always home.
We should call them.
I don't have their numbers.
Well, neither do I
said, walking back to my bedroom. It was stripped bare of anything worthwhile. My computer, mouse, keyboard, computer chair, boxes of random knickknacks, bicycle were all missing. My dresser drawers were laying everywhere. My closet was nearly raided, and my bed covers had been tossed around the room. I heard bouts of loud cursing from Clark as he inspected his room.
They took my goddamn Xbox. That son of a bitch.
Valid as fuck.
I felt like Cartman there.
Feeling shocked, defeated, and numb, I sat on the bed. I called Katie to tell her what happened. No answer. I shot her a text. My house got robbed. And stared at the wall for a while thinking. David King had been in my house. He'd stolen my identity, my public image, and now my things. It was time to step up my game. No, not my game. My life. Time to stop floating through life and start beating the minimum required effort. During the rest of that day, we learned a lot about plumbing. David had loosened every pipe he could find in the house. Clark made the discovery when our toilet unleashed a tsunami when he flushed. We spent hours cleaning that up. To fix all the pipes, we had to go out and buy tools because neither of us had any at the house. When my card was declined, Clark stepped in and paid. My declined card worried me. Clark and I went to the library, and I tried to log into my online banking site. Locked out. Shit. I didn't even bother retrying my password. We raced to the bank before they closed, and I breathlessly approached the teller.
Wait, I need to freeze my account.
What's your account number?
The teller, apparently named Chantel, asked. I told her my account number from memory. She opened it on her computer.
Driver's license, please.
I handed her my card. She typed my driver's license number into her computer to verify my identity. They handed it back to me.
Looks like your account's at 0. You can only freeze the account if there's money, honey. I've been... I'm still trying to not laugh at what I just said.
No, that was pretty funny. I'm holding back.
I've been robbed!
I shouted, feeling extremely angry now.
You moved all your money to your debit card via our online app, and then withdrew it all in cash from our ATM this afternoon.
No, it wasn't me. I've been hacked.
If you'd like to report a fraudulent transaction, you can fill out this right here.
Yes, fine, do it.
I said abruptly. Clark watched me with worry a chair by the door.
When did you notice fraudulent activity?
Today. But it could have started any time over the last year.
I replied. She raised her eyebrows in a way she thought I couldn't see and started typing. After a few minutes, she looked up at me.
Okay, I filled out your report and submitted it. Should hear back from our fraud department soon.
What about the ATM cameras?
I don't have access to those. You have to file a police report.
Okay, I'll go back.
Then Clark and I went back to the car and drove to the apartment. We would have gone to the police department right away, but the apartment it was still flooding in places.
That's tragic.
That's funny. We spent a few hours finding leaky pipes and tightening them. We took hours because looked up everything before we did it to be sure we were doing it right. Clark inspected the pipes under the kitchen sink while I sat at the table and started my inventory for the police. It was already 9 p.m., so we were going to take it to them in the morning. Our local station wasn't open 24 hours a day. We had knocked on Jackson and Isaac's doors, but got no answer. Either they weren't home or they were ignoring us.
I'm really sorry about all the fraud going on.
Clark said as he tightened a pipe.
You said you think you know who it is? Who's David King?
David used to be a friend about a year ago.
I said. I told him about the dares and the conversation that led up to it.
You dared each other to ruin each other's lives, and he took that seriously?
Clark asked incredulously. Incredulously. I don't know. Whatever. Continue.
Apparently.
So, you're not going to hold up your end of the deal?
My end?
He dared you first, man, and you haven't even tried.
Well, no. I guess not.
Then let's think of something to really destroy his life.
Clark pulled himself out from under the sink and washed the grease off his hands.
Prison would do it.
I suggested.
If I can nail him for identity theft, that'll solve the problem.
True. But we need to show him that you aren't going to just lay down and take it. I have an idea that's not going to ruin his life, but it'll make him realize you're going to fight back.
Clark took me in his car to Home Depot. We bought 2 cans of black spray paint and Clark paid in cash.
Okay. Where does this dumbass live?
Clark asked when we were back in the car.
Clark, his mom is great. I don't think I could spray paint her house, man.
His mom?
Clark laughed hysterically.
Some guy that still lives with his mom is terrorizing you?
Okay, Jesus.
I said. I gave him the address and he took off. We drove past the houses to see if any lights were on. It was dark. Even the porch lights were off. We parked 3 blocks away from the house and started walking.
What's the plan?
Spray thief on the front of the house.
Clark whispered with a smile.
That ought to get the neighbors talking.
When we were next to the neighbor's house, we ducked behind the fence and surveyed the neighborhood. All was quiet, no movement, no noise, no people. We stayed low and silently dashed to the front of the house. I sprayed the F, Clark sprayed the T, and we worked towards each other. It barely took 3 seconds. We stepped back for half a second and examined our handiwork. The letters were 3 feet tall, easily visible from the road. Perfect. We turned and started to run towards the car. Then, the door to the house opened. I glanced over my shoulder. David fucking King. Dude, they have said David fucking King so many times. David fucking King. Dude, can this make it his own action movie by now?
I bet you this guy has cameras on around his house.
Most definitely. Like, what?
Anyway. Oh shit!
I hissed. Clark heard me and we sprinted full on towards the car. David tore down the sidewalk after us. Clark looked behind us as well. Oh my god.
Oh god, oh god, oh god.
Clark chanted with each step. He actually looked worried. As we approached the car, Clark had a realization.
Just keep going.
He tried to whisper even though he was out of breath.
I locked the door. It'll take too long to unlock and he'll know my license plate.
Clark didn't have automatic locks. He had to use the key manually. I agreed with his logic and we ran past the car as if it were another vehicle. I looked back and David was gaining on us. It was too dark to see his expression. Hell, I didn't even know if he recognized me.
Split up.
I cried, turning right into someone's front yard. Clark kept going straight. When I reached the white plastic fence that led along the back of their property, I glanced backwards. David had followed me and ignored Clark. Ooh, oh my god.
Damn, he got lucky as this sounds like an action movie. Like this doesn't sound
I
like
know, this man needs
someone's
his own
life.
action movie.
Yeah, someone needs to get this shit recorded.
I scrambled up the slippery fence and dropped on the other side. I had landed in someone else's backyard. I started running towards their front yard. A motion detecting light on the wall went off, blinding me. I looked behind me again to watch David scale the fence in half a second. What the hell had he learned how to do that? I rounded the corner of the house and smashed right into a patio table and chairs. The chairs cluttered down and the table tipped over while my body folded around it. My heart was pounding as I untangled myself. That's when David grabbed the back of my neck, pushed me down, my face against the edge of the table. And that's the end of part 2. This one was unfortunately
cliffhanger.
a little short, but that's all right.
Little action-packed short one.
Oh yeah, get ready for episode 3. For the long runners, don't forget this will be compiled all into one compilation once the whole story's done. So hell yeah. I love y'all. Thank you again for the massive amount of support. Don't forget to check out the links down below. And you want to take us out?
Remember to take it all with a grain of salt. We'll wrap it up and see you next time.
Welcome back to episode
Like 20.
Alright, valid enough, of the With a Grain of Salt podcast. And today we're going to be continuing the I Dared My Best Friend to Ruin My Life. And he's succeeding.
And he is succeeding.
Oh, let me tell you, this one has been a fucking banger, dude.
Been on a nail biter.
I've been waiting to read more. Real quick, I want to quickly shout out the links down below. Don't forget to check out the Discord, the TikTok, the merch store. All right, and if you want to get in right now on a merch giveaway, go over to my Twitch, twitch.tv/saltysaltine13, okay? And we are doing a live giveaway. First 5 subs will be the first 5 contestants. And then after, we will pull for a free With a Grain of Salt mouse pad. All right, let me tell you. 1 sub is literally the quarter of the price of the mouse pad. It's going to be worth it. I promise you. I'd also like to quickly shout out one more thing that I have posted some new videos over on my main YouTube channel. So don't forget to check those out. I'm back, I guess, in some sort of way. Yeah, let's get right back into it.
Let's get into it, baby.
Hello again, everyone. So many positive replies. Thank you. I haven't smiled in months, and you're definitely all making my days easier. I love how almost every notification has given me a countdown each couple hours. Exclamation mark, remind me 8 hours. Thank you for making me laugh. Seriously, I needed it. I had a close call with David, almost found me today. I caught a bus out of town, which is where I wrote this. Now, we continue.
Hello, Xander. Out for a walk? Fuck you!
I spat, my cheek jammed against the table edge.
Why so hostile? You know what, jackass? Not so loud. We're having a nice, quiet conversation.
I struggled to push my head off the table, but he was so much stronger than me.
Stop struggling and listen. I want to clarify the rules of the game since you finally caught on to that we're playing. This isn't a game. You ruined my credit, stole my money, hacked my accounts, and stole my shit. I'm gonna kill you! But I'm not gonna kill you. That's the rule. I'm not gonna kill you, Xander. That would put an end to your ruined life, and that's not the goal. Now, you haven't put any effort into ruining my life. Why not? Because I'm not a sick psychopath. Clearly not. But this is boring for me. I'm doing all the work making you fight for your life, while you're doing nothing to improve me. Now that I haven't learned anything. But it wouldn't be more fun if you fought back. I'll even let Clark help you, but I think I need you motivated. You think I need motivation to hurt you? As if. Yes, you do need it, because despite everything that's happened to you, your only attempt to fight back was pathetic. I need you to up your game and fight harder. That's where some motivation kicks in.
He reaches his left hand into his pants pocket and pulled out his smartphone. He tapped on it a few times before holding it up to his ear.
Hello?
Katie! Jesus Christ, he kidnapped Katie!
You motherfucker! Easy on the language, Xander.
David smiled, talking as if he'd asked me to eat my vegetables.
Katie, where are you?
I said desperately into the phone. David took the phone away and hung up, sticking it back in his pocket.
Do you understand the rules now, Xander? Are you motivated? I'm gonna kill you, you son of a bitch! You're burning hell! Now listen, now. This isn't a theological discussion. You and Clark, do your best to ruin my life. Do whatever you want. But if you kill me, I kill Katie. Can't kill her if you're dead. No, but my friend will. It's amazing the kind of people you can meet online. He's just as excited to play as I am. Do you have any questions before the game really starts? What the hell happened to you? We were best friends. Things change. I'd been dreaming of this game for years now. You were my only real friend I could do this with. One day I decided to just go for it. You ruined your own life by trying to ruin mine. Once you're convicted of identity theft and kidnapping, your life is over. That's part of the game. Can't ruin me if you can't convict me, and I've been prepping for years.
He grinned. His eyes were dark and menacing.
Don't you think that's unfair to me? How am I supposed to put a good effort in if you've been prepping for years? I'll consider giving you some advice.
He admitted, looking thoughtful.
In the meantime, do your best. And tell Clark to play along, because I'll have some motivation for him too.
The sound of scrambling on the back fence alerted us to someone's presence. I shouted for help, and David slapped me, but lightly. I tried to see who it is from my limited movement. Clark's face appeared over the fence.
This is my cue to leave,
David said with a smile.
It's been good catching up with you, Xander.
Clark shot across the yard, yelling for David to piss off. David just stood there looking at me and waiting. That's when Clark caught up and punched him square in the face. David flew up to the ground, releasing my head. I stood up and rubbed my sore face. David started to get up, but Clark kicked him in the side.
Stay down!
He shouted. A light went on in the house behind us. We both turned to look. I had thought to hold David here until the police arrived. When he turned back around, David was halfway down the street. Clark started to take off, but I grabbed his arm.
Stop. Let him go.
I said in defeat.
I have something to tell you.
We made a quiet decision to avoid the cops tonight. We wanted to file a report with them on our terms, not having to explain what we were doing trespassing in the middle of the night. We jogged back to his car and went home. We sat on the living room couch as I told Clark about David's conversation. Clark was staring dumbfounded at me.
I thought you said he used to be a friend.
He did.
And he never acted like this?
No, not to me.
This is insane.
Clark said, standing from the couch.
He kidnapped Katie just so he'll try to ruin his life and follow along with some stupid dare? Is he crazy? He's going to get caught.
Let's hope so. But we should start planning. I'm not taking any chances while he has Katie.
Okay, man. I want nothing to do with all that. I want nothing to do with this and all, but I also want to help you. If it was anyone else, I'd nope the fuck out.
Well, let's get started.
I don't know how much detail I want to put in here because it'll likely go slow and boring for you. We stayed up all night mapping out events, people, weaknesses, strengths, everything we could think of. We filled half a notebook with all our notes. These were the weaknesses we could come up with and that we could potentially use against David. Boredom with life, so we could make the game too boring to continue. His mom, if she knew what's going on, she might be able to get him to stop. I know some of you commented that we should kidnap Miss K and use her, but we were still very green and had no desire to do kind of shit David was David was using. Holy cow. Work, get him fired, and make sure no one would hire him again. Online accounts, do the same thing to him that he done to me. Police, if something could come up with hard evidence to get him convicted, the problem would be solved. Katie, since he had kidnapped Katie, the police would definitely get involved. I could easily report my suspicions about David, and they'd search him for the tiniest evidence. Then we looked at his strengths and things to look out for. Prepared, he obviously had the timeline he was following and knew what he was doing. Time, the junk mail, and credit fraud incidents had all begun long before I felt the effects. This meant that there could be other traps David had set up that would go off like a time bomb sometime in the future. Physical body. It was clear from tonight that he'd been working out a ton and practicing, possibly training for his job as security guard. Money. He had a lot of money now from what he stole from me and used fraud to receive. Friends. If he'd made a friend who's willing to get involved in kidnapping, then there were 2 or possibly more psychopaths to worry about. Knowledge. He knew how to use fraud without being caught, yet, and hack computers or at least hire someone to do it for them. We had no idea what the other dangerous knowledge he might have. So we made a list of things that he could know that we should learn how to counter. I won't list it here because it was pretty long. Willingness to break the law. It was clear that the law was not part of the rules of the game for him. He was either unafraid to be caught or confident he never would be. After we looked at David, we looked at ourselves. First, our weaknesses. Knowledge, we didn't have nearly the amount of knowledge David had. Not just knowledge about how to do things like fix a pipe, but also knowledge about David, who his friends were, who he worked, where he worked, who he talked to, etc. We'd have to start learning like crazy to try to catch up. Money. I had no money left. Clark was limited because he'd just spent a ton on that plasma TV that was just stolen. home, and car, David knew where we lived. We planned to sell our lease as soon as possible. He also knew our cars, but there was nothing we could do about that until we moved and had some money to buy a junker car we could possibly use when necessary. No matter where we moved, he could find our car, he could follow us home. Again, Katie, if David decided to change the rules and use Katie as motivation, we might have to rethink everything. Fear. Clark and I knew that deep down David terrified us more than he angered us. I would have rather walked away than exact revenge. We were also afraid and unwilling to do a lot of things David had already done. These were our strengths. Law. The law was on our side so long as we kept things legal. Clark's credit. So far, David hadn't targeted Clark like he targeted me, so we could take precautionary measures to protect him. Jobs. We had jobs and could therefore earn money, unless David found a way to get us fired from them. We need to come up with a way to protect our jobs from David. FTC, police force, and government. These government bodies, with all their vast resources, were working with us on my identity theft. We thought it was likely that they'd be able to link David to my identity theft. Looking at all the strengths and weaknesses of both parties side by side, it looked like an even matchup on paper, but just thinking about trying to fight David made us feel like we were up against an impossible enemy. We sat down to eat breakfast and continued talking over what we should do. Both of us called in sick to work so we could start preparing.
Alright, I posted our leases up for sale on Craigslist.
I said, putting my phone down. Clark was sniffing the air with a confused expression. He leaned over and smelled his cereal.
Does it smell bad to you?
He asked. I sniffed.
Smells like cereal to me.
Huh. Smells bad to me.
He dumped the cereal in the sink. Clark pulled out his phone and called Equifax, letting him know that he wanted to freeze his credit for 90 days. When those 90 days were up, he would call again and again until the matter was resolved to protect his credit. His credit card was, with a $3,000 limit, was still accessible to us, but no new credit would be applied for. Then went on every account and had online and changed every password to be a random gibberish. He signed up for an online password manager and put his passwords in there. The password manager worked by only storing an encrypted file on their server. He would download this encrypted file from the password manager website, read or write to the file, re-encrypt it, and then send it back to the server. The server only, oh my god, it's literally just explaining how fucking server encryptions work. Or password encryptors. The server only held the encrypted file, no passwords. Even if this company got hacked, the hackers would only have a bunch of useless encrypted files. They could crack the files with time, sure, but it was the best we could do. The only account he didn't put into the password manager was his bank account information. He wrote down half of his username on one small scrap of paper and the other half on another. He did the same with the password. He intended to hide them in safe places around town. If David got a hold of Clark's bank information, we were dead in the water. While he did that, I finished both of our inventories to hand over to the police as soon as they opened for the day. Once the police station opened, we were going to head over, hand in our inventories, file a police report for the burglary, and recommend David as a possible suspect. I also planned to point them to my identity theft police report and state that I suspected David to be guilty of that as well. Once we had the police report, we would go to our landlord and request for locks to be changed. Using the police report as evidence of the break-in, the tech had told us that the door had been opened regularly and not forced. That meant David had somehow made a copy of our key. As it got close to 9 a.m., we got to Clark's car and drove around town. He got out at 4 locations and hid his scraps of paper somewhere. He knew it had to be somewhere where people didn't touch for months at a time and wouldn't be damaged or moved by sprinklers, storms, etc. I don't know where he hid them, and he assured me they were safe. After they were hidden, we drove to the police station to file our report. We waited patiently for an officer to see us. Once we were called over, we took a seat and talked to him about the break-in and that the police report had been started and we are now turning in an inventory of stolen things.
We have a suspect for the burglary.
Okay, who?
His name is David King. He used to be a friend of mine, but not anymore.
What happened?
He asked, writing the name down.
Recently, I had my identity stolen, and I suspect it was him behind that. So if he stole my identity, then it's likely he broke in too. He hates me.
Okay, but what's actually happened that made you not be friends anymore?
I hesitated. I didn't know how to explain the situation. If anyone can think of a better way to explain the situation to a cop, let me know. I only said, we had a major fight and he threatened to ruin my life.
When was this fight?
About a year ago,
And you think he's just now stealing your identity and breaking into your home?
The cop said dubiously.
Were you friends with him?
He asked, gesturing to Clark.
No, I'm his roommate.
He replied, pointing to me.
Okay, boys.
The officer sighed, scooting forward.
Thank you for the tip and your inventories. We'll investigate this just like any other crime and give it our best effort. Can I get copies of your driver's licenses and phone numbers so I can contact you if I have any questions?
We handed him our licenses and wrote down our phone numbers in the file.
I'll be right back.
He said, taking the licenses to make copies. We looked at each other for a minute, taking a deep breath.
he doesn't believe us.
I said in
Well,
resignation.
Well, find evidence.
He encouraged me. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then the officer came back, 2 others at his side.
Or that's not him. Clark Ulysses?
Yes?
Clark said, confused.
You're under arrest for vandalism and trespassing on private property.
The officers flanked him and pulled him to his feet. I stared at the cop in bewilderment. Clark's eyes were wide.
When I went to copy your licenses,
The cop said, holding it up.
I checked it against records last night. Last night, someone called in a report that you'd been to their home and sprayed thief on their house, and then attacked him when he came out to stop you.
My mouth dropped open. Son of a bitch.
David King, the one you just recommended as a suspect, was the one who called it in. Seems to me like you're trying to discredit him before he reported you. Guess he beat you to it. Read him his rights.
He said to the other officers.
Wait,
I said, standing
Hold on.
up.
hold on. I was there too. It wasn't just him.
Clark shook his head at me so slightly. No, I wasn't gonna let him take the fall for this.
Mr. King explicitly stated that there was only one vandal and he watched Mr. Ulysses sneak up to the house and spray it by himself. I know you're trying to protect your friend, but don't throw your life away, kid.
One of the officers started reading Clark his Miranda rights, while they cuffed him and walked him toward the door leading to inmate processing.
Call my mom. I'll be out soon.
Clark shouted behind him.
Don't let him win.
And that
Damn.
is the end of chapter 3. Bro.
Damn.
Oh my god. What
Damn.
an encounter. Oh my god. Well, now they definitely gotta lock in. Like, they
The
got
whole
no
time
choice.
the whole time threatening to put him in jail, and he puts his friend that's helping him in jail. It's crazy.
Oh god, that was crazy. Anyway, thank you again for listening to chapter 3. And don't forget to check out the links down below. And I think we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget.
Remember to take everything with a grain of salt.
And we'll see you in the
Next time.
next one. Peace out. Welcome back to episode 17.4 of the With a Grain of Salt podcast. Today we're going to be continuing the story I Dare My Best Friend to Ruin My Life, and he is succeeding. Before we get started, Aiden, would you like to say anything?
Make sure to check the description for all our links. You know, we got our Discord, we got Aiden's Twitch, his TikTok, the podcast TikTok. Happy New Year! You know, it's 2026 now.
Oh yeah, what's your New Year's resolution?
It's kind of cheesy, but I lost a lot of weight last year, so now my goal is to like kind of shape it and actually have some muscle.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Grow the main channel. Get back on the main channel. Grow this channel as well. I want to kind of bring both of them, grow both of them. I can't wait to see the future for both of these channels. And we've got even now sub channels on the main channel. So like, let's go! Don't forget to go check that out, the Salt Mound and the Spud Shack. But thank you all for staying with us this far, and much more to come. But thank you all, and yeah, let's
get her down.
let's hop right into it. Hi everyone, I've been exploring today. New city, new layouts to learn. I'm getting good at memorizing cities. Thank you all for your support and suggestions. Once again, these are all past events, but I am taking your ideas into consideration for how to fight back here in the present. A few of you have offered to help me in other ways. I appreciate the offers, but this is my fight. I've ruined so many other lives involving other people. No, David is mine to ruin, even if I die trying. Also,
Wow.
yeah, what a strong comeback.
Wow.
Also, I've looked back over it and I realized I forgot something, but now I've forgotten what it was, so forgive me if I make a correction in the past part. Another thing, I try to talk to as many people as I can in the comments unless my reply will have to contain spoilers. But live events have forced me to limit that interaction because time and the sheer number of you. Forgive me. Now, I'll continue. I called Clark's mom right away. I had their home phone number because last Christmas, Clark invited me to his house for Christmas dinner since my parents and I were still fighting pretty harshly. He'd already gone home while I had to work, so he gave me the phone number in case I got lost, and he didn't answer his cell. She was devastated and asked me a million questions. It was very, very uncomfortable. She agreed to drive down that day and post bail for him. She lived a few hours away, so she said she had be here around 5 p.m. The county we lived in didn't allow online payments via credit card, cash only, so she had to physically drive down. In the middle of the phone call, I missed a call from a number that wasn't in my contacts. I called back and they answered immediately.
Hi, I missed a call from this number.
Is this Xander?
Yeah, who's this?
Xander, I'm Katie's mom. Your parents gave me your number.
Shit.
Hi, I can't talk right now. I'm in a rush and
She cut me off.
Have you heard from Katie? She didn't come home last night. Your mom gave me your number. Please tell me she's with you?
She's not. And I'm not sure where she is. I'll have to go. I'll call you back.
I hung up the phone. I didn't want to talk to her about Katie because I was about to file her missing person report.
Wow. Okay.
The timing, I guess.
That's
great.
awful timing. The
That
mom
is-
called me being like, "Where's Katie?" and being like, "I really don't know. I can't talk right now."
I really don't know where your daughter is. Matter of fact, I'm finding out right now.
I'm telling the police right now.
I walked over to the reception desk.
I was just talking to an officer and then he arrested my friend and walked off. I need to talk to the officer on my other case about identity fraud.
What's your case number?
The lady asked. A while later, I was sitting in one of their interrogation rooms after asking for a private meeting. Detective Hernandez sat at the opposite end of the metal table. My 2 case files were on the table in front of him. He was glancing through them, trying to familiarize himself with the break-in report. A tape recorder sat between us, and he pressed a button on the recorder and the tape started rolling. He stated his name, my case numbers, the date, and the time.
All right, go ahead.
So, I submitted a report for identity theft a while ago and I haven't heard anything about it.
The FTC can take some time to respond.
Well, now there's a new report for a break-in in my apartment, and I was talking to another officer earlier and told him that I have a suspect for both crimes.
Yes.
the detective said, looking over one of the folders. He had both cases on the table.
One David King, correct? Looks like it was written in your file.
Yes, David King. He used to be a friend of mine, but now he hates me and has been targeting me.
Targeting you? How?
Most recently, he's kidnapped my.
Sorry. This is such a random one-liner.
Like, how are you
It
gonna
threw
go
me
from
off.
getting your friend getting arrested, right? And then on top of that, the guy you're trying to file a report case was the one that got your friend arrested, and now you're trying to file another report on the guy that you just tried to get in trouble and failed to.
Okay. Okay. Targeting you how?
Most recently, he's kidnapping my girlfriend Katie.
That caught his attention. He pulled a pen from his pocket.
When was this?
He asked, setting his pen on the blank page.
Last night, when we went to go graffiti his house, he chased after us and pinned me to a table. He called someone on the phone and they had them put Katie on the phone. I heard her voice and he claimed he'd kidnapped her to motivate me.
Motivate you to do what?
Hernandez asked. I told him about the dare conversation. Sorry, this is so funny because, like, I want you to imagine, right? Like, all the asshole cops that you're in town with, right? And one day you just have to go up there and actually file a report and explain all this shit.
Yeah, this is all weird ass shit too.
Like, I couldn't explain it without laughing myself. Then, about all the junk mail, my online accounts, the credit card fraud, my parents' credit being targeted, my car's windows, the break-in, my bank account being emptied, the graffiti incident, Katie's phone call, protecting Clark's bank and online accounts, and now Clark's arrest. Hernandez took copious notes.
It just keeps escalating.
I said in defeat. I watched Hernandez carefully trying to gauge his reaction. I couldn't tell what he believed.
I need more details about the phone call. What did she say? What did you say? And what did you hear on the other end?
We walked through everything for an hour. Nothing I said was useful for finding Katie, but Hernandez sat back after I finished.
Xander, I have to be honest. This all sounds very loose. I don't mean the crimes themselves. I mean the connections linking David to all the crimes. There's nothing that can be done about the identity theft until the FTC has finished their investigation. The break-in and broken windows, hacked accounts, and emptied bank account will have to produce their own evidence to prove that David committed each one. To you, this is all a timeline of events. But to the law, they're all separate crimes and they have to be treated with no regard for past actions.
He said. His tone was reasonable and concerned.
I believe you, but I can't make arrests without witnesses or hard evidence. Your story is circumstantial at best, but I do believe you when you say they are connected.
Finally, someone believed me.
What have the text said about the break-ins?
I asked.
They said they found a few fingerprints. All the fingerprints found belong to each of you and a few of the people who used to live there, according to a file. They've all been confirmed as past residents.
And what about the ATM camera?
Now that's something unfortunate.
He said, looking through the folder again.
We got a call from your bank to file a fraud report. It was smart of you to go through the bank and report the fraud. My boss made it a priority, and since it was the same name, it was added to our file on your identity theft. I've been the one personally working on your identity theft case. Once I received the case, I called the convenience store that the ATM was in. They gave me the brand of the ATM so I could request the footage from the company. Problem is, the ATM didn't have a camera.
What? How could an ATM not have a camera?
Not all brands do. Some ATMs don't have cameras built in, and that was one of them. Someone logged into your online bank account right before the ATM transaction, moved all your money from savings into your checking account. They also increased your ATM withdrawal limit to 5,000 while online, which was way above the 3,500 limit you had in your account. Normally, you can only withdraw 500 per day.
What about the store's cameras?
I asked them to bring their footage down, and they said they'd be in today.
Where's the store? I want to see this myself.
No.
He said firmly.
I may have inclination to lean towards your theory, but I will collect the evidence myself, and a court will decide. You steer clear.
Then drive down yourself right now, god dang it.
I yelled. He stood slightly, his hand reaching for his bell automatically.
Calm down.
He said, looking me in the eyes.
I have no money. My car windows are smashed and I can't repair them. My rent will be due and I have no way to pay. I can't get to work in a car I can't drive. I need my money back.
Hernandez sighed, sitting back down. I breathed heavily.
If David is the one who used your information to commit credit card fraud, why would he steal a measly $3,500 from you?
Because he's dead set on ruining my life. That's the dare. He's taken it too far. Further than any sane person would. He's sick. I just wanted to stop.
I said. I cried a little, and Hernandez let me sit in silence for a minute, with tears rolling down my cheeks.
What about Katie?
I asked after a while.
The kidnapping is going to get the top priority. That's the one case he has a witness. You. I won't be working on it, but someone in a different section of the department will be. The other detectives will want to interview today and get started.
Let's do it then.
Hernandez stepped out and returned a while later with the detective. Detective White came in and probed me with hundreds of questions. Where did she work? Who were her friends? How long have we been together? When did I last see her? Do her parents know? Questions like that. When I brought up David in the phone call, he leaned in and asked me the same questions about what I heard, what he said, and anything I could remember. Again, I didn't remember anything helpful.
I need to bring in David for questioning. Weren't ready for that one, were you? Who the fuck is blowing up my phone? Leave me alone.
Go ahead. Continue.
Oh my god. Leave me alone. I'll need to bring in David for questioning. Your testimony is decent, but we need more evidence for conviction. I cannot arrest him because I need more proof. If we arrest him without enough proof, he'll walk away free and he can't be tried again.
You had enough proof to arrest Clark.
Clark?
I was just talking with an officer who said David called in and told you all that Clark graffitied his house. All he had to do was call and he got arrested.
Clark?
Clark? That fits his voice though, no? We need to bring him in for questioning. Clark?
Detective White excused himself to go find out more about what just had happened. He came back 5 minutes later.
This is my best voice yet, dog.
Now go ahead.
David has more proof on that case. Photographs of the graffiti. Photographs of Clark coming up to the house. His own testimony about recognizing Clark and a bruised face. Clark's hand is also cut up which corroborates his story. We noticed it when we booked him. This is the kind of evidence we need to convict the kidnapping. Right now, we have your testimony stating you said hello to Katie on the phone and that David said he'd kidnap her. We need more evidence to convince a jury.
But I was with Clark.
In the pictures, you weren't.
Then they're fake.
And an expert will check them and determine that.
I sat back in my chair, feeling defeated. Detective White thanked me for my testimony and left to contact Katie's parents. Detective Hernandez sat back down, watching me as tears well up in my eyes again.
Let me pay for your windows.
It won't matter. He'll break them again the next day.
He's broken them more than once?
Every time I repair them, they're smashed again the next day.
I might have an idea. But I'll need some approval from my boss.
If you haven't heard of entrapment in the context of a police investigation, oh my god. Dude, this person loves over-explaining, like, some things, like...
Laws?
Yeah.
And, like,
you could
other
literally
things
just
like
tell me it's a
illegal.
trap. You could tell me it's a trap, and that is all I need to know. But anyway...
Mhm.
If you haven't heard of entrapment in the context of a police investigation, it's a legal defense that can be used when evidence can be shown with an officer induces a criminal to commit a crime they wouldn't otherwise commit. When this defense is used, there are two differing views. In some courts, it is a defendant uses entrapment as a defense. The prosecution has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the criminal was not entrapped. In other courts, the defense has to prove that it was entrapped. The state I was in required the prosecution to do the proving. Hernandez recognized that his plan could be contributed as entrapment, and explained this to me as we walked through his boss's office. He told me that since David had already established a pattern of breaking my windows, Hernandez could set up surveillance on the car and just wait for David to commit the crime he was going to do anyway. Since I had repaired my windows twice and had kept the receipts, that would serve as good evidence that a crime had been repetitive. The idea made me hopeful. I sat outside his boss's office while he walked in and presented his idea. When he walked out, he gave me a thumbs up. David would never know what hit him. Hernandez drove me to my house where I picked up my car and took it to a repair shop. He followed me over there and paid. We drove to my work in Hernandez's car while they worked on it. Hernandez ordered us some lunch and I talked to my boss. I told him about my bank account getting hacked and I needed to cancel direct deposit. Luckily payroll was next week, so there'd be a change of method of payment by next paycheck. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm going crazy because I feel like I'm just sitting here telling...
It's just over-explaining his life.
Like, I feel like I'm sitting here giving an explanational video of how to prevent credit card fraud and what the steps to do to, like, fix it. Like, it's actually kind of driving me crazy right now. But anyway. Hernandez ordered us some lunch and I talked to my boss, blah blah blah. I told him about my situation and Hernandez backed me up. He agreed to pay some of my wages in advance out of the store's petty cash until payday came. And I was able to pay him back. I thanked him profusely in helping me out and apologized for having to call in sick that day. I walked out with a full stomach, $335, and a calm mind. With any luck, we'd catch David tonight. Hernandez took me to the back of the shop and I picked up my car. I tried to pay from the money I had received, but he refused, saying I could pay him back after this was all resolved. He told me he'd be at my house later to start the surveillance and to just park my car on the street. I thanked him once again. We parted. It was about 3 p.m. when I got home. I parked my car several blocks away and next to several others for camouflage. I didn't want David to find it and smash the windows before tonight. The walk was hot and the cool air conditioning welcomed me into my house.
Excuse me?
Someone asked timidly as I unlocked my front door. I peeked my head back outside. There was an older woman on the landing, probably in her 40s.
Yes?
You live in this apartment, I'm guessing?
Yeah?
I'm Mrs. Watson. I believe you and my son are roommates.
Oh, hello.
I said, extending my hand.
Whose mom are you?
Isaac. He and I were supposed to be driving out of state to visit family yesterday, but he never showed up.
A chill ran up my spine.
I've called him 1,000 times, but he hasn't answered. I've been standing here ringing the doorbell for a while, but no one's been home. Can I go knock on his door?
I considered asking her to leave or telling her that I wasn't comfortable with her coming in, but I knew that would have been suspicious. I knew what we were going to find. I told her to come in, and instantly the smell overtook us.
Oh God.
Bro's been gooning? She tried to be polite.
Ibuprofen?
Sorry, that's definitely not what happened, but she tried to be polite and not offend me, probably thinking we were typical college guys living like pigs. She walked down the hall to Isaac's room.
Oh, God.
She muttered. The smell must have been horrific right by the door. I shuddered, and I went down the hall towards her. She knocked.
Isaac?
She called. No answer, as I expected.
Isaac, it's Mom.
She said. I think the smell made her start to panic because she pounded harder on the door.
Isaac, open up, please.
She pleaded desperately. I sighed. Gently, I guided her away from the door and braced myself. I took a running start and slammed into the door. It bent heavily, but the latch didn't break. I tried again, and again. On the fourth try, the door wrenched open and I was inside. The smell. Oh God. I don't know how many times I can tell you about it until you understand. It was one of those moments where I'll remember every detail forever. Isaac's room was a mess. There were 3 bookshelves that likely used to have tons of books, but the shelves were torn apart and books scattered across the room. His computer desk had papers scattered across it and cups knocked over. The window was darkened by a blackout curtain used for gaming. The large gaming computer under the desk hummed and the monitor showed stars moving around for a screensaver. Isaac was on the bed. His face was pale and patchy with purple lines. His arms and legs were white and also bruised. An extension cord trailed off the bed, and the middle being wrapped around his neck several times. Some flies nested on his body, flying into another spot occasionally. Miss Watson entered the room and screamed. I just stood there, staring at Isaac's dilapidated body. David had jumped to murder. I called the police and tried to get Miss Watson to leave the apartment and preserve the crime scene. She refused and sat sobbing next to Isaac's bed. She was afraid to touch him. The police came immediately and escorted Miss Watson and I out of the apartment. The next few hours were a blur of questions and police. Detective Hernandez showed up and looked inside. Techs were carrying in cameras and briefcases full of equipment. After a while, they started to carry out some of Isaac's belongings in bags. His gaming computer took 2 techs to carry out. God damn, that's a big computer. I sat on the curb nearby, not being allowed to leave by the head officer who was running the scene. Hernandez sat next to me.
They broke open to your roommate's door and all his belongings were there. But your roommate isn't. Do you know where he is? No. I never talked to him much. Were you close to Isaac? No, but it's still... I know. Do you think David is behind this too? Probably.
I replied, feeling numb.
Well, we'll still carry out the surveillance. Don't worry. They'll analyze Isaac's body, and if they find so much as a fleck of skin that we can link to David, we'll nail him. No criminal is perfect.
Hernandez left me alone, and I thought over the situation. Then, a parked car nearby, and stepped out Clark with his mom. I jumped up and ran over to him.
Oh my god, Clark, are you okay?
I'm fine.
He smiled reassuringly.
Posted bail is only $350, so it wasn't awful.
What the fuck?
I thought you said you'd be here by 5.
I asked Clark's mom. Side note, I don't remember the exact time she got there, but I do remember she was earlier than expected. I was going to meet them both at the station.
I may have broken a few speed limits.
She said in a neutral tone.
What happened?
Clark's face suddenly went cold and he saw all the policemen near our door.
Isaac was found in his room.
I don't have to specify what state he was in.
Jesus Christ.
Clark gasped, putting his hands on his knees. He started hyperventilating, and his mom worriedly put a hand on his back.
Clark, honey, let's just go for a drive. We can get your stuff later.
Your stuff?
He's moving out.
His mom said sharply.
He told me about the sick game your friend's playing, and I don't think it's very funny.
It's not funny. It never was. That fucking asshole's trying to ruin my life, and it is not a game.
A few of the policemen turned to watch me from the balcony. Her jaw tightened, and she guided her hyperventilating son to the car. They drove away, and I was left in the middle of the street, watching my best friend leave me to handle David alone. And that is the end of part 4.
Wow.
Dude, things really kind of took a turn. So, not only...
I didn't expect him to kill someone.
Yeah, I mean, we thought, like, alright, David's finally getting justice. And I mean, he is. He's finally getting stuff set up for, like, a little entrapment so they can finally catch David. But...
Well, it's not entrapment if he's been repetitively doing it.
And now here's the best part.
Because all they did was put up
they
the
said
camera.
they said that his house was stinking, and they were only gone for like what, a day or two. So that means
That happened today.
no. That mean they found him today. His dead. He never left his room since he moved in. Do you remember them not saying that? He rarely ever left his room, and like they were only gone for like a day or two when they went to David's.
True.
And then the police station, and it's so yeah, like that means David like got him a while ago.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Jinx, that is wild.
It's crazy. Well, thank you all for watching, and don't forget to check all the links down below, and get ready for part 5. I mean, it's gonna be crazy. I'm definitely excited.
If he's already committing unaliving now, I only can assume what happens when David starts trying, or not David, Xander starts trying to fight back.
Oh yeah, and like unfortunately too, like what's his name?
Clark's moving away.
Yeah, Clark. I mean like
Like
Clark
he's literally on his own again.
like Clark was just about to like start helping too, which kind of sucks, and now it's just him and the policeman with edgy trust values. So it's definitely gonna take an interesting turn. I'm interested. But thank you all, and I think that's where we can say,
Remember, you
Oh.
take it all with a grain of salt. And we're gonna wrap this video up.
wrap it up.
See you tomorrow.
Peace out. Welcome back to episode 17.5, almost there, of the With a Grain of Salt podcast, where today we are going to be continuing the I Dared My Best Friend to Ruin My Life, and he's succeeding. A story, once again, by the user ZanSan90 on r/NoSleep. Don't forget to check that out over on Reddit. Also, while we're at it, don't forget to check out the links down below. Don't forget to check out the Discord, the TikTok, my main channel even. Alright, I'm doing some new things over there. I'm liking it. And you know what? Don't forget to also check out the sub channels, the Salt Mound and the Spud Shack. This guy might eventually release a second episode. But who knows?
I got stuff cooking. That's in the works. Nobody knows. It's all in here.
Oh yeah, I bet it is. But don't forget to check all that out. And yeah, let's hop right into it.
We got this. Part 5. Crazy. Last part, he was kind of just talking with the cops and bailing out his friend, and then his one friend dying.
Yeah, so Yeah, so they finally started locking in, but eventually they got stopped by the cops. The cops took him in, and then what was his name? Uh,
Which friend?
oh my God, dude.
Oh, Clark, I think.
Yeah,
His
Clark.
mom was like, "I'm not having any of
Yeah,
this."
so Clark got arrested. Clark's mom had to come drive and get and bail him out, and then eventually find out he's moving away, and then there was the dead body, and but that's where we're at right
Now
now.
we get to see if David's gonna actually break into the window again.
Yeah, they set up that trap. I forgot. They set up the trap. And before we begin, I'm gonna kind of skip these first couple paragraphs because it's just like a shout out thing that he did for his last. But yeah, as it says, let's begin. I was told that I couldn't go into my apartment until they were completely done with the crime scene. No, they didn't know when that would be. They suggested a hotel room, which I laughed at. I asked if I could grab a blanket and a pillow from a room so I could sleep in my car. They reluctantly brought it to me, and I gagged when I grabbed them. They smelled like death.
I mean, I bet. Man, that means that body is like fresh, but like right after they left.
Yeah, I mean, like, the smell of it. I mean, the smell fumigated the house.
Hmm.
Hernandez offered to get me a motel room or let me stay at his place or even begged me to call a friend and stay with them. I refused all three. I walked to my car and ignored Hernandez. I was still too mad about everything and devastated that Clark had left. Besides, we couldn't do surveillance on a car while I slept in it. I marched all the way to my car and slammed the door hard. I decided I didn't feel safe parking near my house to sleep, so I went to a Walmart parking lot for the night. It was as if fate had finally begun to root for me. I was walking towards the Walmart entrance from the parking lot to buy some food when I was only a few cars away. An armored truck pulled up. The ones that carried the money over to the bank, you know what I mean. And who do you think stepped out of that truck? David fucking King. Get this man his movie.
That is crazy work that he's like, after all of this shit has happened to him, and he finally is like just trying
Yeah.
to, end his day and go to bed. And his number one op is at the
just pulls
Walmart
up.
working his 9 to 5.
He's really ruined his life right now. I strafed to my left and got behind a car, using the back-tinted windows to observe. He was laughing with his partner, who got out of the passenger side. I was too far away to hear what they were saying, but I definitely didn't recognize the partner as anyone I knew. I was obviously paranoid, but I wonder if he could be the one who made Katie speak into the phone. The two of them walked into Walmart, and I took note of the company that owned the truck. And then I had an idea. My first real idea on how I could fight back now that I knew David was right this second. I sprinted back to my car. A little while later, I pulled up to Miss K's house. I got out, looked around, making sure David hadn't somehow beaten me here or followed me. I had to hurry. Who knew how much longer his shift would last? I knocked on the door and Miss K opened it.
Hello, Xander. Oh, that's not feminine enough. Hello. That's not it. Hello, Xander. I can't do it anymore. Hello. I'm gonna blow a load.
It was old lady, come on.
Oh, this was old lady. Okay. Hello, Xander.
Hi, Mrs. K. Can I come in?
5 minutes later, I was rifling through David's room. Had to hurry, had to find something useful and fast. I told Mrs. K that years ago I let David borrow a video game and just now remembered and wanted to pick it up. She had happily let me go into his room and find him.
That's some type shit.
It's like me coming over to your house and being like, hey, you guys, you remember when we played Skylanders? I kinda need Pop Trigger back. I had booted up his ancient laptop, but it was never taken for it. I had booted up his ancient laptop, but it was taking forever to load. Why the hell hadn't he bought a new laptop with all the money he stole? That would have made good evidence. I glanced at every paper I saw, hoping for something. Written plans, a checklist, a receipt, anything. Every paper I found was normal from what I could see. His room was a disaster, which worked in my favor. He may have dropped something incriminating and not known about it. I stuffed every flash drive I could to find into my pockets as I went. He had 4 of them laying around. They might have incriminating evidence on them.
No, that's so bad.
It definitely has all the CP.
No, that's so bad though. That's just bait.
It is. I mean, yeah, obviously he's gonna get in trouble for it, but like, I'm worried that he's gonna see all the CP, bro. Anyway.
There's definitely. Okay, sorry. My bad. My bad.
The laptop finally booted and I instantly tried to log in. No luck. Password protected. I should have known, considering how tech savvy he'd been in hacking my accounts. In fact, all the incriminating data was probably on the laptop. He wouldn't bother printing anything out. That gave me an idea. I picked up the laptop and flipped it over. A toolbox laid under the table and I snatched a screwdriver from it. Using the screwdriver, I went into disassembling the laptop. When I finished, I held his hard drive up in my hand.
I will ruin you, David King.
Damn, bro is the enemy now. As I reassembled the As I reassembled the laptop, something caught my eye under the bed. A box. Furrowing my eyebrows, I pulled it towards me. It was a shoebox with dust covering the top. A few spots were less dusty where someone had held the lid. I opened it slowly and peered inside. It contained a 1/4-inch thick stack of pages all bound together by a paperclip. The box was too small to let the pad laid flat, so it curled in the box. The pages are... Dude, I am...
I believe in you, dog.
The pages were old and worn. They'd clearly been handled frequently. I lifted it out and noticed that it looked like a research paper. The front page had a title in the middle of the page and an author at the bottom. Psychological Evaluation for David Edward King. Ooh. The bottom of the page had the name of the institute and psychiatrist that had done the study as well as the year. I did the math and the evaluation must have been done when he was 16. Jackpot. I stuffed it in my shirt as best as I could to hide it in square form. The laptop was set back in its place as if it was never moved. David would know something was wrong eventually, but not until he booted it up. I gave a last look around and wondered if there was anything else I should do. With no decent ideas, I left David's house. Miss K gave me a brownie on my way out. Bro earned that brownie.
That's what is up.
Bro earned that brownie.
What is up.
He earned that brownie, fair and square. On the drive back to Walmart, I tried to come up with a plan. I couldn't take this to the police because it was illegally obtained evidence and wouldn't be admissible in court.
Is it legally obtained?
Is it illegally obtained? Yes.
It is not his, but he was let into that house.
Okay.
If
I come over to your house and you have $200 on your desk and I take it, that's not illegal, right? Because you let me in your house?
Yeah, but how can I prove you took it?
You let me in your house. It's not the question of how can you prove it. The question you just asked, is it illegal? Yes, it is illegal. You're stealing.
Okay, listen. I'm asking a dumb question and trying to defend myself. Okay?
Yes, it's very illegal to steal.
Okay.
It makes no sense. Alright, whatever. I knew that from a bunch of crime shows, I had to get all the evidence myself and somehow get it in the police's hand legally. When I parked at Walmart, it still wasn't that late. I walked inside carrying the flash drives and psychological evaluation with me. I used the demo computers to look at the contents of the flash drives. Looking back
Smart.
now, I am amazed that they let USB sticks work on the demo machines. The first flash drive had old high school papers on it, nothing useful there. The second and third drives were bootable drives that could boot Linux. I didn't expect anyone to understand what that means, it's not important. Do you not know what that means?
That's just a way to use Google, no?
It's just a software that works on anything.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. It was on the fourth flash drive that I had my first breakthrough of evidence. It contained a single text file that had been edited the day before. As I read through it, I realized it was a conversation. With my current understanding, the flash drive was how David and his kidnapping partner had been communicating. David would write a message and hide the flash drive in the predetermined place, then the kidnapper would go pick it up and read the message. The process would reverse when the kidnapper had a message to pass along. A lot of you will probably say, well, why wouldn't they just use encrypted emails? That's so much faster and safer. If they had used any kind of network to communicate, some internet service provider or some cell phone provider like Comcast would have a long entry of these messages being exchanged. Even if the data was encrypted, encrypted data is never 100% secure. If you dedicate enough processing power, you can crack an encryption. It may take thousands of years in some cases, but it could still be cracked. With our current advances in computing power, that could change to even be faster.
Very true.
Oh yeah. David and his partner had reduced their risk of being caught by limiting who had access to the information. If you send an email to me via Reddit, I'm not the only one that quote-unquote gets it. The message, it passes through several servers and routers who all make a note that a message passed through a specific time. It leaves a trail. Unless you can erase the logs of those servers, you leave a trail no matter how you send your data. So Aiden, I hate to tell you, but everyone has access to those dick pics that you and I sent back and forth. Anyway, there was certainly
My
risk.
career's over.
No. It's okay. There was certainly risk that someone could find the flash drive, plug it in, and find all his data like I had. But that could be reduced by choosing decent hiding places. If you plan to pass messages this way, don't leave it laying around your room. Especially don't leave it unencrypted. I still don't know why it wasn't encrypted. The text file would have a line, then skip a line and add another where the new response was. I don't have the flash drive or a copy of the conversation anymore, so I'll have to paraphrase as accurately as I can remember. I'll use bullet points here on Reddit to format it more easily for you. Payment received?
Yeah.
Last half of the payment comes when this is all over.
How long?
Depends on him.
Good.
Good. No suspicion. A quiet grab. Was she harmed?
She fought, couple bruises, otherwise fine.
There were some extra lines in between, making the start of a new conversation.
Any new information?
A kidnapping report has been filed with the police. Change locations every 2 days as previously discussed. Are you well supplied?
I have enough in the truck to keep moving and stay operational.
Good. With any luck, this will be over once he makes an irreversible mistake. I shuddered as I closed the text file. That was damning evidence. I checked who the owner of the file was. It was blank. Well, that would have been too convenient. I googled the kind of cable I would need to hook the hard drive up to a computer and bought a SATA to USB cable. Holy cow, alright. I was thankful that the demo computers were in an aisle out of view employees in the tech center. To people who don't know technology, To people who don't know technology, I'm convinced I looked like a hacker. Let me give you another lesson at technology, since I seem to be giving so many in the series. You take a drink. Speed read time.
I'm ready.
When you boot your computer, it asks for a password if you set one. Without that password, you can't access the hard drive unless you do some kind of hacked up workaround. In some cases, however, you can unplug the hard drive and plug it into another computer instead. The new computer will treat it like a regular external hard drive, and voila, you have access. Unfortunately, David had encrypted his entire hard drive, so it was useless to me at the moment until I had some spare time to either guess the password or find someone who could crack it. Going to the summer supply section of the store, I took a seat and pulled out the psychological evaluation and looked at the cover page again. Psychological evaluation for David Edward King. I hope you realize that I removed the institution, author, and date for privacy's sake. Okay, that sentence was not needed.
Yeah, for real. Like, we didn't already know that's why you did it.
Alright. I spent an hour skimming the contents, using the table of contents to navigate. I constantly had to look up lengthy words on my phone, but I was beginning to understand what went on in David's sick little mind. I won't give you an entire rundown of his whole life, but the report contained transcribed interviews with his parents about incidents, a psychologist's observations while holding David in confinement, and a general list of events that had occurred in David's life that may have traumatized him. These are ones I remember. David set fire to animals constantly and poked them with various objects. When a snake lunged and bit him once in his backyard, his mother came out to find him whipping the limp body against a tree. Guts spraying everywhere. Only explanation was, it tried to hurt me. Next one being, he was found designing traps for rabbits and other animals that were expertly hidden and designed. He claimed he had never looked at a wilderness guide to make them. His mother later found entire notebooks containing designs for traps. The traps were aimed at getting both animals and humans. Third point being, his father died when he was 12. Okay, that wasn't funny. Sorry, you did not have... Hold on, that was a bad time chuckle. Oh my god. I was chuckling at you and not the fact his father died.
My bad, gang. I set you up so hard there.
So bad. Let me lock in. His father died when he was 12, which affected him greatly. He became quiet and reversed for years. The first day of high school, however, he changed overnight and became charismatic, energetic, and clever. Last point being, in middle school, one of his teachers had been interviewed after an incident. She had noticed that 3 boys had begun picking on David, but he quietly took whatever they gave him. One day, she came to class and all 3 boys sat ramrod straight and stared right ahead. They didn't dare look at David, and David was smirking and trying to hide it. Finally, let me summarize what the psychologist wrote about David. You know what? You got a
I got this.
Yeah, give me a voice.
I may just be a quiet, simple lawyer. David seems to have a constant need to harm other living things and cause them suffering. Once in my office, I found him stomping his feet on the floor. I asked what he was doing, and he admitted that he was trying to crush anything microscopic. I seriously fear that he will not be able to remain in society without some serious medication and therapy.
God damn it. You know what? I be feeling bro could just be walking in circles, like go running or something, and like
Yeah, crazy that he's just stomping the
Like-
ground,
like
killing bacteria.
bro, his whole ass just what are
Yeah.
you doing? Killing everything.
The bacteria must not exist.
It's crazy. I had no idea that David had any of these problems or experiences. He and I had never met when we were.
You got
He-
this.
He and I had met when we were both 17. He'd been exactly as the report described: charismatic, energetic, and clever. I felt blind for not seeing any red flags, but I knew that he had hidden them well intentionally. The psychologist made another entry a month later.
David seems to have performed a complete 180 in his mood, actions, and demeanor. He has been polite and kind every time he's come in and very capable of being fully functional.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna cap. That's called a whole ass mask, because let me tell you, I did it for I don't know how many years with my ADHD. I didn't want to take medication, so I just learned how to hide it. The sentence stuck to me as odd. Months of the statements about David's instability, and suddenly this comes out? I googled the professor's name. He died in a car crash the same year as the publication date on his evaluation. Oh my god.
Imagine David planned that. Imagine David planned that like he's been planning this his whole time.
He fucking killed him. What do you mean?
David definitely murdered him.
Yeah, David provoked him to write that final statement and then killed him.
Ain't no way.
Son of a bitch. I reread the very last entry. I recognized the words for what they were. A coerced recommendation to re-enter society. I could feel the psychologist's words scream through the page.
Good God. He's gonna kill me.
No
That
wonder David was so prepared. No wonder he was always ahead of me. No wonder his expression had spread such an absolute fear through me that night he chased Clark and I. He was insane. He designed traps. He knew what made people and animals tick. He enjoyed inflicting pain on them, and not just that, but watching them suffer. David was absolutely insane. Insane, but functional. That's what made him dangerous. I hunkered down in my seat and brought up a Word document in my phone where I could take notes. Then I started Googling. You know what I'm talking about? You're facing... Unneeded. Anyway, I guess I'll read through it. You know what I'm talking about? You're facing a problem and you start searching for anything online that could help you fix your problem. Internet was a wonderful tool for me at this moment. Without it, I'd be dead months ago. Anyway, I feel like the internet's been like the most of your problems, but okay.
Real. He's been watching you through it.
Oh
Anyway.
God. I was kicked out of Walmart for loitering, but I continued my research in my car. I turned the car on every once in a while to drive around and charge my battery. That night, I learned a lot about hacking phones, Android, surveillance, police procedure, legal procedure, and all kinds of subjects related to my situation. I took dutiful notes and outlined areas for further research and learning. During my research, I found a list of apps that could be used for hacking someone's phone. I checked my installed applications, and can you guess what I found buried in my phone? One of those apps. David fucking King had been eavesdropping and tracking me through my phone. Instead of deleting the app, however, I kept it. It could be useful in the future. So, once again, man, let's go back to literally three paragraphs ago, okay?
Isn't the internet so great? He literally
word for word,
watched you.
the internet was a wonderful tool for me at this moment. Without it, I'd be dead months ago.
Just literally just could check and see that you wrote all these notes about all these things against them. That's crazy work.
Yeah, and then he wrote all those notes on his phone. Oh my god. So David already knows he knows. I also researched the company David apparently worked for. Dude, he's just... What is going on here? Like, he's just giving David all this information.
Yeah.
It was a larger company that served several states, providing both long and short distance transport of valued goods. This was good information. If his job was to handle valuable goods, then it could be an easy way to get him fired or even charged of some disappearance of his truck. His truck was long gone by then, so I had no current opportunity. During all hours of the night, Hernandez would call me. So would Katie's mom. I ignored them both. That was a big mistake, I'll later learn. When I rose, I didn't feel tired. I felt empowered. Finally, I knew about my situation and had to be... God, dude, I'm fucking butchering. Finally, I knew more about my situation and enough to be useful. I knew how to get those hard drives to the police legally, and I need Clark and Hernandez's help. I never got used to that plan, though. Reality caught up with me. David moved too quickly. I was driving to my apartment to see if I could brush my teeth and take a shower, at least before work that day. When my phone buzzed, it was Hernandez. I answered it reluctantly, prepared to get an earful for ignoring him all that night.
Xander, where are you?
Driving to my apartment.
You need to come down to the police station. Right away.
Why? What's up?
It's bad.
He said with a cringe. Confused, I hung up and turned right, heading towards the police station. I walked into the police station lobby to find Hernandez waiting for me.
Did Isaac's body turn up anything?
I asked, looking at his worried expression.
They're still analyzing it.
He said, then he took a deep breath.
Some new development has come up.
I gave him a questioning look and then felt cold metal click around my right wrist. I reacted, but the two cops had flanked me and pulled my arms together. The metal clicked around my other wrist, handcuffing me.
What the hell?
I shouted. The policemen each gripped one of my arms.
Xander, I know you're upset about everything that's going on. What you did went way too far.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Hernandez held up a bag containing a phone. He used the touchscreen through the bag and navigated to the phone's voicemail. The voicemail was jolty and sounded like whoever had the phone was running. Wind struck the mic, making it hard to hear in places, but the voice was unmistakable. It was mine.
Fuck you, jackass. You ruined my credit, stole my money, hacked my accounts, and stole my shit. I'm going to kill you. You think I need motivation to hurt you? I'm gonna kill you, you son of a bitch. You'll burn in hell. You'll burn.
Man, I
Damn.
know what happened. I know what
Damn.
happened.
My heart shuddered to a halt. I had said those things. I had literally said those things. The night David chased us and pinned me to the table. I said every word. That bastard had been recording the whole thing, and now had edited it into a threatening voicemail.
David King's home burned down last night.
He said slowly, watching me, gawking me.
David and his mother were still inside. Firefighters found David alive and were able to pull him out, but his mom was dead. That voicemail was sent to his phone from yours at around the time the firefighters estimated the fire started.
Holy shit. I lost my breath. My eyes watered. The world closed in. I couldn't speak. Couldn't defend myself. Couldn't explain.
Xander Jones, you're under arrest.
And that's the end of
And
part
that
5.
is the freaking end. Man!
He is like right there, bro. Like David is on his ass, bro. I can't wait
This
to
guy
read
has been
series 2.
planning it from childhood, man.
I can't wait
Oh
to
my
read it from his
gosh.
perspective. Oh my god. 3 more parts. There's 3, 6, 7, and 8 last parts, and then we'll go on to series 2, or we'll hold on to series 2 or whatever. But oh my god.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us through these stories and through the podcast. We're at, what'd you say earlier, 703 subscribers now?
Yeah,
at the recording of this
we're
video?
tied with my main channel right now. That's fucking nuts.
That is absolutely nuts. We started in what, like November?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just, I can't believe it. I really appreciate everyone that likes watching our videos. And I'm just really glad you're letting me and Aiden and our friends be able to like be creative here and make stuff. And you guys actually see it. So
Oh yeah.
thank you.
And like
And
some of the biggest things that I want to do as a creator is I want to shout out the other smaller creators. I want everyone to have a chance, especially coming from my history. You know, like I've been streaming since like before Mixer, bro. Like it's been forever. My goal is to just shout out and give everyone those small chances. So you know what? Limited time. If you can hit me up and you're a good podcast creator with at least 100 subs, I will you email me or Discord me or something, and we'll think about getting you on as a co-host, okay? For a good episode, I promise you. But thank you all again. Don't forget to check the links, like and subscribe. And
remember to take it all with a grain of salt.
and
we're gonna wrap it up.
And peace out.
I'll catch you later.
Of I dared my best friend to ruin my life, and he is succeeding. And let me tell you, as you can see, there is a man behind me that I have no idea how he got in my house.
Window right there.
But anyway, today we're gonna be continuing the story, and anything you would like to add real quick?
Just thank you all so much for the support again. 700, is that what it said?
Yeah, we're at 700 subs.
That
now,
is
so that's
crazy.
that's huge.
3 months. I just thank you guys so much. Keep check out the links down below. His Discord, the other channels. Check out his sub channel. I promise I have a script for a second episode for a Split Shack video. It'll be out soon.
But hell yeah, let's get right into it. I'll jump right in as usual. I laid in an empty cell trying to catch a small nap since I'd been up all night. My mind was racing through and it made me hard to sleep. I kept rehearsing what I was going to say when Hernandez finally came to me. Then they emptied my pockets into evidence bags, took my fingerprints, and one cop was heading out to search my car. I wasn't dumb. I knew that evidence wouldn't point the police to 3 conclusions. 1, that I had been in David's home recently. After all, the data in those flash drives had been updated just the day before. Even the ones that didn't have the kidnapping transcription on them. 2, the flash drive containing messages between David and his partner might lead them to believe I kidnapped Katie. And 3, that I'd stolen David's hard drive and as confidential medical information. Yeah, this guy's screwed.
David's got him. I don't know
David
where else
got
it
him.
goes from here other than David ruined his life.
Exactly. I kept trying to play out the conversation with Hernandez. I hoped it would pan out the same way it was running in my head. I was woken up by a slight knock on the bars. My eyes peeked open to see a man in a suit standing there accompanied by an officer.
Hello. Sorry to disturb you.
He said sheepishly.
I'm Terry Jason, your public defender. May we talk?
Of course, yes, of course.
I said, sitting up. The officer entered and cuffed me. We both led to the interrogation room where I met Hernandez for the first time.
I trust you'll shut off the cameras?
He said to the officer. The cop nodded, removed my handcuffs, and closed the door.
You can call me Terry,
He said, reaching out to shake my hand. We sat down opposite each other with the table between us.
I've heard a little about your case in a brief overview from the chief.
It's long.
So I hear. I'm going to have to apologize in advance. It's likely that you'll have to repeat your story many times during these proceedings. To prevent this as much as possible, you and I are going to sit down and write your version of the events down. That way, you can fall back on your statements and ensure that what you say is consistent and accurate. Does that sound good to you?
It made sense, so I nodded.
First, I have a contract here for you to sign that says you agree to let me represent you in criminal proceedings.
He pushed a paper He pushed a paper and pen across the table to me. I skimmed it and signed at the bottom. He pulled it back.
Would you like me to call you Xander or Mr. Jones?
He asked with an easy smile.
Xander's fine.
Okay, Xander, let's start writing.
Terry sat patiently with me while I wrote every detail I could think of. It began with my dare conversation with David and followed all the way up to this point. It started out as a page that scrambled memories and words to jog my memory. Then it slowly formed into a statement that Terry helped me edit into a cohesive fact-based statement.
When you're asked about your memories or an event, refer to them to this document.
He said. We worked for an hour before he spoke again.
I have to go to another appointment, but I've asked that you be allowed to continue working in your cell. I've scheduled a meeting with the prosecutor and Detective Hernandez tomorrow at noon. Do you think you can have it complete by then?
Yes, I think so.
And I did. I spent the rest of the day writing that statement. I slept sporadically, but I was desperate to complete it before noon the next day. So much had happened, and I had so much to say. I was quite proud of the results. In fact, I was more proud of that statement than this one. That statement had a lot more fresh memories. This one feels a little scatterbrained. My statement was concise and to the point, but maybe it's for the best that this is the one that I posted. The next day at noon, I was back in the interrogation room. Terry sat to my left. Hernandez stood against the wall facing me with his arms crossed. I couldn't read his expression. On the other side of the table sat an older man who introduced himself as Chief Gunderson, Hernandez's boss. Beside him stood a tall, lanky man with slick back hair. He held his hands behind his back, watching me intently. The tape recorder between us was running.
I've been brought up to date on the case you're involved in.
Chief Gunderson said in a gruff voice.
I'm interested to hear everything from your perspective, considering the recent developments.
How the fuck did I do it?
You arrested me just to hear my side of the story?
No, I arrested you because you're suspected of burning down Anne King's house and thereby killing her. Hernandez tells me that you might have felt justified in doing so, considering all the accusations you levied against Mr. King. So I'd like to hear what has happened from the beginning of your side of the event.
Who's he?
I asked, pointing to the lanky man.
I'm the prosecutor, Adam Luderman.
Oh, you're the one that's gonna put me in prison?
I quipped. Terry put a warning hand on my leg.
I'll be trying to establish the truth about what happened.
He corrected, glaring down at me.
My client here has prepared a statement that he intends to wholly rely on. Right where your mouse is, buddy.
Harry said, pushing copies of 17 handwritten pages across the table. The chief and prosecutor took one. Hernandez stepped forward and grabbed one too. He instantly started reading them from his spot in the corner. I tried to catch his eye, but he did not look at me.
I just began the process of discovery today. I'll need the copies of everything as well as a copy of the official indictment.
I tuned Terry out and forced on Hernandez. There was something about his demeanor that caught my attention. I couldn't tell what it was. I focused on him for the entire meeting, trying to figure out what my instinct was telling me. They talked over legal details with Terry and corroborated the process of discovery between the two parties. A couple days later, Terry was sitting with me in the interrogation room again, talking through what he learned from discovery. Discovery is when two sides of a case share evidence, so there's no surprises when they go to trial. Anything not brought up in discovery is not admissible in court. Before trial, though, would come my arraignment. That's when the formal charges could be laid against me, and I would have to plead guilty or not guilty. Terry was talking through discovery with me, so I would be prepared for what they'd say during the hearing and decided whether I plead guilty or not guilty. Here is what I learned. Oh, it's me. After I'd been arrested, the police had searched my car and found the hard drive, flash drives, and psychiatric evaluations. And something else that was curious, a half-empty gas canister. That fucker had planted a gas can in my car at home at some point without me knowing. I'd been in my car all night, so either David knew he was going to burn his house down before I went to Walmart, or he planned it in a few minutes when I was in the police station. I told Terry about the gas can being planted, and he wrote down some notes. The police had searched through the contents of all the flash drives and discovered the conversation between David and his partner. Except, as predicted, they accused me of writing the messages and therefore linked me to kidnapping. The text file never specified Katie's name, but they claimed Katie's kidnapping was the most likely scenario since I knew about it and it was therefore involved. Despite this evidence, however, the prosecution didn't feel like they could convince a jury without more evidence. So Katie's kidnapping wasn't planned to be laid against me as a formal charge, but they were searching for evidence. They had also tried to open the contents of David's hard drive, but found it was encrypted, just like I had. They sent it off to a lab to be analyzed for whatever data could be salvaged. The medical report was classified as admissible because it pertained to an individual who did not consent to the dissemination of its contents. As a citizen of the United States, you get some control over who can look at your medical records. Denying its use in the courtroom is a right in certain situations, including this one. David had decided to exercise that right and deny access. As a result, the prosecutor could only charge me with possession of someone else's medical records without permission. That was a serious crime, apparently. Okay.
I mean, he did kind of rob it from his house under his bed, so like...
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know where you were going with that, but alright. Terry had also been informed that the identity theft case was being combined into the charges against me. The credit card companies had done their own investigations and were filing criminal charges against me for fraud. Why would they do that? Because a technical investigation into the origin of the registration for the fraudulent cards found that the reporter himself, Xander Jones, had indeed filled out and completed the registration forms from his own computing device. In other words, they traced the IP address of who had filled out those registration forms for the cards online and found that my computer had been the one to sign up.
Yeah, but he had the USB in the back of his computer.
So that means he was taking control of his computer while he was not there. Which meant they were accusing me of signing up, spending all the money, and then reporting fraud, also a major crime. The emptying of my bank account was also pinned on me. Again, they claimed I was trying to commit fraud by filing a false claim within the bank. The police had finally got the security tapes from the convenience store where the ATM was located. There were 3 angels. One camera was above the door, one above the register, and one in the far corner of the store opposite the ATM. The tape showed a man in a dark hoodie walk into the store. The video was grainy as you would expect, but despite that, a large symbol on the back of the hoodie could be recognized. The man in the hoodie walked up to the ATM and pulled something from their pocket. Prosecution claimed it was a cell phone since the timestamp on the camera matched the timestamp of the log into my bank account. The hooded figure looked down at it for a few minutes before typing into the ATM, blocking the screen with their body. The money spat out, he grabbed it and walked toward the door. The camera on the opposite corner from the ATM was the only one able to catch a glimpse of their face. It was grainy, but the prosecution compared it to pictures from my Facebook profile to claim that it had just enough resemblance to have been me. Comparing to David's pictures, it could have been him too. I argued that point with the prosecutor pretty fiercely. When I was done with my outburst, the prosecutor told me that the investigators had also found a hoodie with the same logo in my apartment. Then they played their trump card. The bank had been logged into from the IP address assigned to my own cell phone during that time. Regarding the fire, which was the main accusation against me, they had decent evidence. The gas can was one, and the voicemail was the other. But there was even stronger evidence. When I first arrived at Walmart, I parked near the front doors, and views of the cameras hanging off the building. They clearly saw me drive away when I was heading to David's house. When I came back though, I had parked in the back of the lot, intending it would be farther away from the cars while I slept. The cameras would barely make out my car parking in the back lot. It was too dark to tell if even a vehicle, the prosecutor claimed, so realistically I had my own testimony to support the fact that I got back to Walmart around 6 p.m. I should add that it took about 15 minutes to get to David's house from Walmart, so just you can understand the time frame. Fire crews had received a call at 6:04 p.m. that David's house was on fire. They had raced over immediately and found the house burning brightly. David had been found trying to lift his mother up from the ground in the bathroom. They brought them both out, and it was discovered that Miss K was already dead from suffocation. David had been rushed to the hospital with a few minor burns and some smoke inhalation. He had yet to explain his version of events to the police. The firefighters had filed a report stating that the fire had started from the middle of the living room where a puddle of gasoline had ignited. The flames had spread throughout the house. Traces of gasoline were found in various rooms, making them believe that the suspect, me, went from room to room, splashed gasoline, just like in the movies. They also concluded that the fire had been started sometime before it was called in because how much damage had already occurred by the time they arrived. I now know that David had set an alert on his phone that was linked to an app he installed on my phone. When my GPS read that I was at his house, an alert would be sent to his phone as a text message. I can only guess that he had jumped in his car, left work, and sped all the way home. That's why I think the time was too close. I'm telling you all this detail so you can see how hopeless I felt when I sat in jail. I was there for 2 whole weeks where it was the same accusations and evidence over and over. Really started to just give up. During the first few days, I asked Terry about how we could prove that it was David specifically who had committed these crimes. He frowned and told me I should be concerned about being proven innocent, period, not on pinning it to another man. By the end of the 2 weeks, I was ready to just plead guilty rather than fight. The arrangement went poorly. No charges were thrown out and had been placed against me. I would list all the crimes I was being charged with, but I don't remember their exact phrases, and I know I'll get it wrong. You get the general idea, though, that I was fucked. Yeah.
We're getting there.
I know, right? Bill had been set at $5,000, which essentially guaranteed I'd be stuck in jail for a while. I'd already contacted my parents out of desperation, and they would try to raise money from family members and friends, but couldn't pay immediately. After 3 weeks, I was very depressed and not eating much. Terry tried to cheer me up by showing me parts of arguments he was preparing, but nothing could cheer me up. I thought about Katie a lot, and Clark and Ivan, and I missed my parents. I also missed Clark's first hearing in the graffiti case, so I had no idea how that was going, which made me feel guilty that I couldn't support him. During the time I was in jail, Hernandez only came to visit me once. It was during the 3rd week I jumped off my bed and ran to the bars.
Hernandez, please tell me you've come to give me good news.
No. You're being transferred to county jail. The trial will be happening there.
Why?
Just how it works.
Did they find anything on Isaac?
I asked. I'd been clinging to the hope that Isaac's body would turn up evidence against David. I just wanted to nail him for that one crime. Just one. I wanted it so badly my hands could shake when I thought about it.
I'm not allowed to talk about it. Anyway, came to tell you that you're being moved in 3 days.
Hernandez, I thought you believed me.
I do. Until you burned David's house down. Now I'm not sure who the psychopath really is.
I didn't do it.
I shouted, but he walked away. 3 days later, as Hernandez had said, they came to move me. After dinner, I was cuffed and led out the doors to a police cruiser that would drive me up the county jail from 2 hours away. The 2 officers who drove were polite to me, but instantly cranked up the radio when we got on the road. I could barely hear myself think, and was starting to get frustrated. I had always hated car trips without my own music. Now I was stuck in a 2-hour ride with my hands cuffed behind my back and a radio blasting music I didn't like.
No.
Most definitely. We were about an hour in, and I was ready to scream. I stared out the window trying to find something interesting to watch and focus my mind on. We were on a 2-lane highway with no other cars in sight. It was getting late, so looking back, I figured people were home for the night, and that's why it was so dead. My view of a nice lake was suddenly obstructed by a big gray truck. I tried to find something else to look at, but noticed it was going dangerously close to our lane. I looked up and saw it was an armored truck, and had the same logo as the company David worked for. The panic was instantaneous. Something gripped my lungs and kept me from vocalizing. The truck slowly neared the side of the police car cruiser before pressing against it. The cop shouted. The cop who was driving slammed on his brakes, and the other cop dropped the radio he was reaching for. The cruiser didn't slow down fast enough, however, the truck nudged it off the road. I braced for impact as we rolled down the grassy slope and slammed into a tree. My seatbelt held me in place, but my head ached while it rammed against the driver's headrest. The 2 cops were unconscious, laying at awkward angles. Neither of them had their seatbelts. I had started yanking at the handcuffs, trying to reach my seatbelt to undo it. I reached the red button and pressed it. When I turned back around to wiggle it out of the loose seatbelt, I saw David fucking King walking down the slope towards the car.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh fuck.
I cursed, turning in to reach for the door handle with my cuffed hands. No luck, the doors were locked from outside to prevent prisoners from opening the doors on their own. David got closer and closer until he was right outside the car. He shot a smirk at me and opened my door. I tried to back away, but he grabbed my arm and tossed me out the car. I fell to the dirt with a gasp. I sat up a little and saw he turned his attention back to the police car. I saw one of the cops beginning to stir. You see what I have to fucking deal with?
Close doors. You edit this. This is a live out.
Like, he's so fucking stupid, dude. David opened the driver's door and pulled something from his pocket. With a quick motion, he stabbed the cop in the neck. Blood splurted out, and the cop started screaming, gurgling, and grabbing for his neck. I think I screamed too, but I can't remember. He closed the door and walked around to the other side. I could see the other cop was moving, but I couldn't tell what he was doing. Apparently he was reaching for his radio, because David yanked it out of his hands and set it on the car's roof. Then he stabbed that cop too. Both of them were unconscious in seconds.
Remember, Dave? Yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah, something like that.
Don't get up.
He threatened, walking towards me. I didn't bother trying. He walked over to where I sat and went behind me. I tried to face him, but he kicked me lightly. He knelt down and I felt him scratching the metal of my handcuffs. I was confused, but sat absolutely still.
Nice to see you again, Sander.
He said, walking to stand in front of me. I watched him with true fear. His entire demeanor was different from the night we graffitied his house. He was changing. When I didn't answer, he laughed. He was twisting the small object in his gloved hands. I noticed through the blood that it was crudely crafted shiv about the length and width of a finger.
I told you I'm not going to kill you, Xander. In fact, for once, I'm here to help you out. Sort of.
What does that mean?
Remember the night you house?
I nodded.
I told you I'd consider giving you advice on how to succeed in art. Time has come. I'm giving you more than advice. See, you're no fun in jail. I've seen the evidence they have on you. You're going away for a I don't want. So I'm granting you a second chance.
He walked behind me again, and I felt sticky blood on my fingers and hand as he pressed the small shiv against my hand.
Here's how this works. I'm going to leave this knife with your fingerprints in the car. They'll think you stabbed the cops and made a run for it. I'm going to let you run. Start before I call.
Oh God, he has a knife. He stabbed the driver and he's...
David cut off, mimicking the call he'd make. Goosebumps ran up my spine.
Sitting here waiting for you. Attempt to come back. I'll take you away in my car and we'll play it different. Understand?
I nodded, too terrified to speak.
Get up.
He commanded. I struggled to my feet, rolling in the dirt to get to my knees and stand.
Come here.
He said, moving towards the police car. I followed. He opened the police car door and put his hand against the officer's neck. I flinched when He flicked blood at me. It splattered across my jail suit and face. I almost threw up.
There we go.
He purred. He motioned for me to turn around, and I did. He pulled the handcuff keys from the deep dead cop and unlocked the cuffs. I rubbed my wrist. They were sore and marked from the car crash. I considered trying to get the shiv from him and attack, but the idea of going with him in his car to play other games terrified me. David had set a backpack next to the car and set it in my hands.
Fernandez says hello.
He said with a malicious grin.
I paid him a lot of money to get him to let me track this car. I ended that I give you half. Of course, I'm not that generous. So here's 2,000. Change your clothes, new shoes, and I'm out. Nearest town's in 10 miles west, but hurry, remember, 30 minutes, I'm calling it in.
My jaw shook as I put the backpack on and started heading towards the setting sun. The forest looked dark and menacing. I looked back when I was part way through the trees, and there he was. He leaned against the car, drinking from the coffee container one of the cops had brought with. Shuddering, in shock, and absolutely terrified, I walked into the woods. And that is episode 6. And we will see you all the next one. Don't forget to check out all the links down below and all the channels. And yeah. Peace out.